Hi, my name is Zach Taylor, and as a fresh high school graduate, I'm ready to embark on my next ambitious chapter. But we all know how stories work. It's always best to look back at the first chapter to understand how you got here. Although at the very beginning of my time on YouTube, I made a few experimental videos.
Link my channel in the description. Best doing it is Zach Taylor. And
my first real kickoff on the platform was when me and my sister started a channel together, in which we took heavy inspirations from channels like The Happy Family Show and SML, all including videos of people playing with dolls, leading to the creation of Zach and Gabby's Barbie Show.
welcome to the Barbie Show.
As much as I at the time realized how ridiculous it was to play with Barbie dolls on the internet, it wasn't like we were the first. And despite how people viewed it back then, I really felt like I was making a whole TV show. The idea of doing such seemed cool in my head for years at this point, but it wasn't until making these videos that I realized how much I loved the craft. But after a while, I kind of realized that Barbie videos wasn't the direction I was wanting to head towards, leading to me creating my own channel a year later, which is actually this very channel you're watching this video on. My initial intention was to make Nerf videos, as at the time, Nerf guns were one of my biggest interests, given that I grew up watching Nerf wars and Nerf gun reviews. I actually did make a few videos, but unfortunately after not even a year, I got embarrassed and just scrubbed them off the internet. Nearly 2 years later, with the rise of the gaming community on YouTube, I decided to dip into a little bit, posting several clips I recorded through Xbox, making films, montages, compilations, even just standalone videos, now going by my Xbox gamer tag, Grinmorph.
Okay, I'm recording. Hey guys, it's Grinmorph here.
After a little while, it all led to me meeting a couple of real fascinating people who shared my interest. Together, we made videos under the channel name Nitronic Gaming. These videos were a great way to share our chaotic adventures through the games we played, highlighting funny quirks, along with showcasing the great chemistry we all shared.
I'm out. Dude, I'm so dead.
Gabriel, stop!
I can't do anything.
No!
Our more popular and consistent series were Minecraft house tours, where each of us would simply get our own separate videos, where we would show off the houses and other structures we all built in one Minecraft world, making for some pretty funny moments.
My toilet, right here. Flick that up.
What the? Ew!
After a while, I kind of slowed down on making gaming videos for my personal channel, as I was now more fixated on this group as a whole. But after the channel kind of simmered down on uploads, my main channel soon faced a new wave of videos that you could definitely say was contrastive. You see, horror has always been my favorite genre of any media. Movies, TV shows, video games, and of course, videos. For years at this point, I'd already been very intrigued by what all the horror creators on the platform were putting out, and it made me think to myself, maybe I could do it too. So I said why not, and did everything I thought was necessary. I rebranded my whole channel by updating my username to Granny, updated my profile picture, and I also launched a brand new series, Scariest Unexplainable YouTube Videos. Each episode contained me showcasing 5 different videos that are quite hard to decipher at first, but then I'll later provide more context surrounding each video. Following the launch of part 1 were more compilation-esque videos where I went over creepy commercials, creepy facts, and many other morbid topics. After about 2 years of doing so, I then shifted to short horror films. Looking back, these early films wouldn't leave anyone too impressed, but you could say I clearly had a vision. Around this era, me and the other guys over at Nitronic Gaming had a bit of a resurgence making content as well, as we decided to revisit our house tour series, where we showed off the several changes we made to our Minecraft world. Along with house tours, we even made Minecraft shorts, and even other videos outside of Minecraft.
Bro, test your luck, Zach. Test your luck. Jump, Zach. Jump.
I'll jump.
Oh my god!
Even though it was a bit of a pain to get everyone on film, we all still managed to maintain a pretty positive outlook for the channel. But the same couldn't be said for my main one. At this point, I'd been making horror-style content for nearly 3 years. By then I was kind of putting out whatever without any thought, and it didn't take long for me to lack consistency. I tried to create some fun out of it by dabbling in other forms of content like skits and simple commentary videos, but again, there was barely any fulfillment after a while, leading to me wondering if content creation as a whole was even something I enjoyed doing anymore. Only a few months later, and all of a sudden Nitronic Gaming were also out of it. The group had shrunk down to just the 4 of us, and our conflicting schedules were getting more in the way by the second. All of us had separate dreams, and none of them was to carry on at the channel. Even all 4 of us getting on to play video games without the cameras rolling was becoming a rare occurrence. At the end of the day, we were all high schoolers with their own lives. After some thought, we all made the decision to stay being a group of friends, just without the label of Nitronic Gaming. But if we were going to let the channel go, we wanted to do it right. So we banded together and did a proper send-off to the series that started it all, house tours. These videos were easily the best of the entire House Tour saga. Our humor and chemistry had improved by a lot.
Yo.
Where's my reflection, yo?
Yo, are you a vampire?
Yo!
As you can see, I was gonna win 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games.
Bro really had to count that.
And it was a great opportunity to wrap up a lot of the small storylines that were occurring in the background of the previous installments. After nearly 5 years of Nitronic Gaming's existence, it was finally time to walk away and close its doors. Shortly after, I began to grow even more tired of making horror videos. I had just released part 5 of Scariest Unexplainable YouTube videos, but at this point I didn't think I had any more in me. Until my next big project, Look Behind You. This was my way of convincing myself that I had what it took to make a good horror film with the few resources I had. I wanted it to blow everything else I had made out of the water. I had Xavier from Nitronic Gaming to buzz a whole soundtrack. I made several props such as fake mini DV tapes, a body bag, anything to make this film as good as I possibly could. And looking back, I'd say it didn't disappoint. The film carried a completely different vibe and atmosphere compared to anything I made in the past. Shortly after I released the film, I kinda wanted to get back into my gaming roots, but only adjacently, as I came up with the idea of a machinima. A machinima being a film/show portrayed through a video game. So this idea was to take the game Minecraft and make a series called Max. I've always been captivated by machinimas, and the idea of making my own seemed like the perfect opportunity to earn even more filmmaking experience. I mean, I created posters, thumbnails, even early concept trailers out of pure passion. This creative spree stretched into the summer of last year, where around that time, given that it had been a whole year since I released my previous horror film, I began to get in the strides of making another one. The film was titled Sleep Study, and it would have been a completely different feel as it was planned to be the first film of mine that wouldn't have me starring, better yet not being in it at all. And the fact I planned to have it all take place in one bedroom would have been the cherry on top. But unfortunately, the timing wasn't perfect. My senior year was approaching, and it wouldn't have done me any justice overwhelming myself with these two big projects. The main issue with Max was that it was a bit too ambitious, especially for something that was in very early development. After a year of casually filming certain scenes while also polishing the story, I realized that the project wasn't worth the amount of time it would take throughout its entire production. I didn't even think of the possibility that the series probably wouldn't have even gotten that big of a following. Because another problem was the fact that Machinimas has kind of ran its course, and it's been that way for years. And with Sleep Study, I simply lost interest in the idea. As much as I loved horror, I kind of spent a good chunk of the last year obsessing over what could be next. What works best as the successor to the previous one? Actively working on the two projects just made one big brain clutter that wasn't really healthy to manage. Once the realization settled, I decided to finally move on and give the ideas a rest. Maybe even save the stories and make something out of it later down the road. But from that point onwards, I decided to finally take my mind off of filmmaking, taking a very much needed break from all of it. And then came a comeback and me just making simpler content for the fun of it. My sister, yes, that one, her friends and I would hang out quite a bit, going on strange but entertaining side quests, in which we later decided to document them. That led to the web series, Zach and the Ladies. Even though we didn't produce a ton of videos, editing them was the most fun I'd had editing anything since Look Behind You. There was nothing quite like the high of finishing a video, watching it over and over again, and just admiring what was made. It was a feeling I hadn't felt in quite a few years. Around this time, the Nitronic Gaming crew and I were still close, supporting each other through everything. It truly felt like I was living in the past again. But shortly after I graduated high school, I did some reflecting on the past year. A period of time where my mind wasn't constantly on writing scripts, brainstorming ideas, anything that constantly had me occupied. And I thought of all those projects I dismissed, where I realized the problem with those projects wasn't that they were too ambitious. In fact, it's good to be ambitious. Deep down, I was just afraid of failure. Constantly having the mindset of making something as big as a whole episodic series, or an entirely different approach to a horror film and wanted it to be better than anything I made before, always led to the same concern, making something that doesn't live up to the previous thing. But little did I know that scenario is only a humbling learning experience, nowhere near defeat. It all taught me a valuable lesson. If I ever want to make anything, no matter how crazy, absurd, or impossible it seems to make, do it. And I know I can. If I couldn't, I would have given up on pursuing film a long time ago. With a patched notepad of several film ideas, I realized that now is the best time to pursue something out of them. So I decided to kind of steer away from the Zach and the Lady series and focus on the bigger things that I had the potential to create. After years of collaborating on the Barbie show, Nitronic Gaming, the Ladies, I was finally on my own again, this time entering the next stage of my life with a clear vision. This decade-long journey has taught me a lot about filmmaking, friendships, and many other things that go beyond the simple act of making YouTube videos. I'm really glad I get to look back at this time capsule I built and see how much I've grown. Out of all the things I achieved over the years, I truly can't wait to see what else I have in store. And that is how we end Chapter 1.
Thanks so much for watching.
That was it for this video.
See you guys later. Bye.